welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have this crazy sliced up illusion Halloween makeup tutorial. You guys know how I love my illusion sort of Halloween looks, and this is definitely one that I've been wanting to recreate for a long time. It's actually inspired by a really talented makeup artist called Mimless. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. I've done a couple of different looks last year as well, inspired by her style. So if you guys haven't seen them already, make sure you check them out. I'm not gonna lie, this look is a little bit on the harder side just because it involves quite intricate detailing, and also it involves a lot of looking in the mirror and like drawing on your body and just kind of hoping for the best. But it is totally worth it in the end because it looks so cool, especially when paired with a black cape. I feel like having something black in the background definitely makes the whole look pull together. So if you guys want to see how to achieve this sliced up Halloween makeup look, then let's get on into the video. So the first thing you want to do for this look is to basically map out and outline the design that you want to create. So I'm just using a black crayon for this because I feel like it just works best. The way I think about this design is as if I was looking at a mug. I know it can be a little bit difficult to try and get the three-dimensional shapes correct, especially when you're working on something that's already three-dimensional, and it can be a little bit difficult to get those dimensions right. But if you think of a mug as reference, the way you look at the top half, you can kind of see a circle, but it looks a little bit squashed. It doesn't look really circular or anything, and that is all down to perspective. So when you think about this look, just have that mug in mind, and this should help you with getting that three-dimensional object looking correct. So the only way I can really explain as to what I'm doing is I'm just basically creating a cylinder chunks of flesh on my body. I'm kind of using my inspiration photo to go along and do this look, which if you want to recreate this look, you can obviously look at the image and maybe also follow my tutorial to make it a little bit easier for you. Now, I'm not gonna lie, drawing these cylinder shapes on your neck is probably one of the hardest things you'll do because I'm not really used to drawing anything on my neck, to be honest. So just a heads up, make sure you're patient, just take your time and you'll definitely get there in the end. And for the chest area, you just want to draw one massive kind of squashed circle, and that will be the pool of blood right at the bottom. So I've actually skipped through most of this part, but all I did was I just applied some black face paint onto all of the negative portions of this look. These are the bits that you obviously don't want as part of your look. You kind of just want the cylinder shapes to be the main focus of this look. And then I've also went in with a more precise brush with that same black face paint, and I've just kind of gone around all of the circles and I've just accentuated the lines, and I've also done a little bit of shading on the outer portions of those cylinder shapes. This will really help with the transitional gradient later on for when we create the blood effect. Now, for the blood, I actually didn't have any red face paint, so I'm just using an old red lipstick for this, but I do have to say, if you can get your hands on some red face paint, I would highly recommend it because this was kind of hard to take off at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, but I got there in the end. And as you can see, that black face paint that we applied earlier has really served us well because it kind of creates a gradient all by itself just by applying some red over it, because as you can see, it goes from a lighter red to a darker red around the edges, which in turn really makes this look a lot more realistic looking, and it gives it that three-dimensional aspect. Now again, if you want to make this part of the look a lot easier for yourself, just make sure you take your time, and you can also use a smaller brush. I'm actually just going straight from the bullet of the lipstick, but yeah, you can definitely use a brush and just definitely take your time because this can be a little bit tricky and time consuming. Once you have finished with all the smaller cylinder portions, you then get to the very main one, which is on your chest. And if you actually happen to use a lipstick like me, you might want to set it because lipsticks tend to be quite shiny. If you look at the black compared to the red, you can definitely see a difference in texture. The lipstick is definitely a lot more reflective, so setting that with some translucent powder will definitely help. Now, if you have made any mistakes or if you just see any blurred lines that aren't exactly as crisp as you'd want them to be, you can obviously go back and just fix those up with a makeup remover wipe or even some concealer. That definitely goes a long way. I feel like this whole look is just going back and forth and just fixing some mistakes or just anything that you're not happy with, adjusting and just really taking your time with the whole process. As you can see, I'm just using a really small precise brush with a little bit of foundation on it, and I'm just going over those very thin lines that are at the back of the cylinder, if that makes any sense. This look is definitely all about detail. It really matters where you place your highlights and where you place your shadows, because that is what's going to make this look so much more realistic. Now I'm just taking a black felt tip liner because I feel like it's really easy to use and control, and I'm just kind of going around the edges of the cylinders that we've created just to kind of give them a crisper edge. Once I'm happy with that, I'm then taking a fluffy brush with just some black eyeshadow, and I'm just going in to kind of shade the pools of blood. And I feel like this again really helps with the three-dimensional aspect. It really makes those parts of the blood look a lot more shadowed, and it definitely gives it a lot more texture too. Once I'm done with the shading, I'm then taking some white face paint, and highlight is definitely really important for this look as well. So I'm just creating some random dots and dabs all over the blood and just dabbing that in with my finger. Once I'm happy with that, I'm then returning back to some shading. So I'm just taking a gray toned sort of brown color, and this is again a matte eyeshadow, which is perfect for making this look a lot more realistic. And I'm just kind of blending that around the edges of the cylinder. Again, if you think of my mug reference, if you're looking at a mug straight on, you will see the most highlighted portion will be the very center, and it kind of just goes really shaded around the edges of it, which is exactly what we're trying to recreate here. And I feel like just doing this small little step definitely transforms this look already and makes it look so much more three-dimensional. Now, because we kind of overlapped that grey shadow over the black has kind of lost its opacity, so we're just going over the black with a small detailer brush and just crisping that edge back up. Again, I keep saying this, but please don't be scared to just keep going back and forth to really perfect this look, because that's really going to make it look so much better. I'm then going in with a black eyeshadow, and I'm just shading in the very bottom kind of pool of blood right underneath the cylinder that we've created. Again, if you imagine that that last cylinder was an actual object, it would have created some kind of shadow right underneath the blood. I'm now moving on to highlighting. Again, like I said, highlighting is definitely going to be your best friend for this look because it really brings the whole look to life and really pulls it together. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking a white crayon, and I'm just kind of going around the very top edges of the cylinder, just where the skin meets the red. And I feel like this definitely adds a lot more to the look. It makes it look so much more three-dimensional. I feel like I keep saying the word three-dimensional, but that is exactly what this whole look is about. So I'm kind of going back and forth with two different white eyeliners. I'm using a slightly more creamy one to kind of, blend into my skin a little bit better, and then also using a white liquid eyeliner to kind of have those more punchy highlights. Now, once you get to the neck, this again becomes a little bit more tricky, so you want to take your time. I've actually gone a little bit more heavy-handed with the highlight on my neck, just because it's already quite shadowed by my face. So by highlighting those portions a tiny bit more than the face, we're bringing those portions a little bit more forward. I'm then also taking that white crayon, and I'm just going around the edges of, the red on our chest. And this is again really going to help with the depth of this look. Once you're happy with your highlighting and shading, you can then add some red drops of blood. I actually think this is so much fun, but you can skip this. I just felt like this added a lot more detail and also a little bit more dimension to this look. So once I finish drawing on my blood drips, I'm then just going in with a brown pencil, and I'm going around the edges of each drip. I feel like this helps to make them look less flat and again a little bit more three-dimensional. Now, to finish off the drips, you always want to add some highlight, because obviously blood isn't just one color, it would be so many different colors. So I'm kind of adding some highlight here and there on the drops, and also going back into each of the other sections of blood and just kind of going over that and adding some more highlights and then dabbing that in with my finger. Once you are happy with the look, you then just want to grab a black hoodie or a cape, and this should bring the whole illusion to life. So this is the finished look. Honestly, I love this so much. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. I feel like this definitely would be a really original idea as a Halloween costume, and you would definitely stand out from the crowd. But if this look isn't for you and it's a bit too intricate and hard, then I do have another 50 Halloween costume ideas for you guys. If you guys haven't seen that video already, I'll link it up in the eye as well as the description. So make sure you guys check it out if you don't know what to be for Halloween yet. But that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah.